and I don't know if you ever heard the Indian Ladder Trail in
Oh
Thatcher
yeah,
State.
definitely. Yep.
Yeah.
Been there.
So we were putting in steps. Last year we were cutting steps to do this project on the Indian Ladder Trail, and then they got a crane. We cut these 10-foot wide steps, and they dropped them in with a crane. And the crane has a scale on it, so it knows how much each stone weighs.
Mhm.
So they marked each stone how much it weighed. Most of the stones weighed over 2,000 pounds. And I was working with these two young women that between the two of them, they didn't weigh 200 pounds between the two of them. And they said, "Oh, how are we going to move these steps?" I said, "I'm going to show you." I said, "We're going to move my hand." She said, "You crazy?" And then they started setting the steps, 2,000-pound stone steps by hand, these two young women. And they were blown away. And you think about, how we as a society.
The bushwhacks were some of the worst days I've ever had in the mountains, or life, really.
Whereas Panther Mountain is totally opposite. It's a mountain on top of a crater.
I think the weather challenges on this incident were particularly difficult.
It was really the development of New York State. Catskills were responsible.
Now you're listening to Inside the Line, the Catskill Mountains podcast.
So as you heard, we're recording. So how you doing, guys?
Good.
Good.
Night.
Yeah, right. It's out here. It's I have like 26 degrees, and it is like a 19-degree wind chill, so it's not bad. It's a good night. I love those nice, cool nights and such. But I'm just funny thing is, I don't know if you can hear it at all, but I'm just coming off of my quarantine. I had COVID.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I got it on Wednesday, so I had to stay home for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I actually just tested negative for the first time this morning. I got COVID right before our we have the end of the year party called the Raid. I couldn't go.
Nice.
Okay, so I was active for I think it was 17 days.
Oh wow.
Yeah, hung in there.
Any like crazy symptoms or something or nothing?
No, you know what? A cold, like a head cold.
Yeah.
Sneezing, coughing, runny nose, pressure on my temples, and a slight headache. And actually, I came to find out I was running a slight fever.
Yeah, it's exactly what I had.
Yeah, I just feeling like foggy. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
But he's actually a lot better than I am, because I'm coming off open heart surgery.
Oh, yikes.
You want to show me your scar?
I'll have to take a screenshot picture of the scar. My God, that's a little bit better, I would say. Good. Well, congratulations on being a successful open heart surgery. I would hope.
8 weeks now. 8 weeks.
Congratulations. I mean, I'm guessing that means you've taken time off of being out in the trail or outside and stuff like that.
A little bit.
He still has been coming out.
Well, I mean, it keeps the heart pumping, right? Like that's just,
You got to keep moving.
yeah, crazy stuff. Yeah. So I'm getting off from the hibernating. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So recently just got DEC reports here. So nothing too crazy going off in the Catskills, like always up north, always up towards Adirondacks. But on November 24th, so right before Thanksgiving, Rangers Alwyn, Fox, Horn, and Jackson responded to the Winter Clove, which is over on the east side of the Catskills toward the escarpment at the inn, and assist a hiker with a knee injury. The 68-year-old from Oneonta, wow, hometown, gonna have to look into this, was approximately 1.5 miles into the woods on a trail known for a steep and challenging terrain. Rangers reached the subject by 5 p.m., splinted his leg, packaged him, and wheeled the litter, and were out by the woods by 7:05. Patient refused for further medical care. So wheeled him out in a little bit, then he refused care. So interesting. That's definitely
That's constant.
Yeah, Winter Clove Inn. So that means they were on the Winter Clove Trail and going up towards Stopple Point and such like that. So I saw pictures and it looked like kind of like a hunter, but I guess not. So good job by the Rangers once again for them kicking axe. So it was a 4-hour job, basically 324 to 705. Must have just, that's crazy though. Yeah, just weird stuff. Just probably that time of year of when, some of the people don't know that there's ice up there. Like it's that time of year where you bring spikes all the time, throw them on when there's ice there, because ice can kill you basically.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So good job for the Rangers.
Went hiking last year without ice.
With that spikes, yeah.
Yeah,
That must have been fun.
rotator cuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Where was that at?
He took a fall. I forget where. It was up in either in the Catskills or ADKs. It's last year sometime.
You're okay though?
Yeah, he's back to work.
It's another member of our crew. Not
Oh,
Artie.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. At least they're back and they're on the crew. So once again, I didn't, usually I introduce you guys. I'm very sorry. This is 102, Dave and Artie from the Jolly Rovers Trail Crew is here. So I'm glad to have you guys on the show today because, I've known you guys for a very long time, as in the team, not you personally, but the Jolly Rovers Trail Crew is an amazing organization, east part of the New York State area, because just the stuff that you guys do is absolutely phenomenal. And I guarantee, a lot of people, unless they're from like the New York tri-state area, up in the Catskills, don't know who the Jolly Rovers Trail Crew is. And tonight I'm going to introduce you to people, to the Catskill Mountains, so people can know what you guys do and how awesome you guys are. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much.
Sorry for the late introduction about that. So also there was a recent news thing of a hiker that was lost in Pennsylvania wilderness with a dog, uses hand sanitizer and a lighter to stay warm. So I was like really intrigued by this. So I looked into this, and it was pretty crazy. Like, so in Elk County in Pennsylvania, let's see, 75 volunteers, Elkland Search and Rescue, and canines from St. Mary's Police Department search for a missing individual and his dog. This is very misleading, but night fell to temperatures around 20 degrees. Search tasks were scaled back and heat-seeking drones continued their operation. Additional search and rescue resources were called in the morning to assist. And in the second day of bear hunting season, they were a little bit concerned with different things going on over there, because of course first season of bear season is really, really tough, and they always say that they should carry a survival kit, but this person stayed alive with a bunch of hand sanitizer and a lighter with the dog. So let's see, cold, sore, and hungry, but otherwise okay. When the interviewing hiker told us that he didn't hear from the helicopter or drone, so they was passed out. But he used hand sanitizer to light a small fire and to keep himself warm. So crazy stuff going on in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is always weird. So just basically, I don't know if that's good luck, I would say, that or smart, but to keep yourself warm with hand sanitizer and a lighter, you got to basically know the first kind of stages of survival.
I'd like to know how much hand sanitizer he had with him.
Yeah, that's I'm trying to dig into the more.
Maybe he just had it to start the fire.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, and a lot of people don't usually, unless they know their search and rescue tactics, they know the basic survivals, don't carry hand sanitizer. Out, and they'll carry splint, maybe ace bandage, band-aids, stuff like that. But hand sanitizer is usually not on the normal hiker's list.
Yeah, no.
So good for that person to keep themselves warm and to survive, especially during the cold nights, because it is definitely been getting colder out there. Definitely. So crazy cool story down in Pennsylvania. So
they're getting tons of snow too in the western New York.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. That's once again, like good thing to bring up is northern New York and western New York getting from the lake effect snow. I know my friend got 18 inches up north towards Waterville, up in that area. I'm like, wow, we got Nothing. Trace here, nothing. A little bit of snow. Did you guys get anything?
No. There was flurries today. I'm actually from New Jersey. So there were some flurries in northern New Jersey, but nothing stuck.
Good. Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what I see a lot of photos, down in the Catskills showing a little bit of a trace up above 3,500 feet, 2 to 3 inches. We'll see how much that sticks because, that sun can melt it away even when it's in the lower temperatures. And once again, those spikes should have been in the pack a month ago. So
they're saying that all that snow is going to be gone by the middle of the next week.
really,
It's going to go up. Yeah. That's
wow,
what I'm reading today.
crazy. It's so crazy to think how quickly stuff is going and coming and going. Usually just snow would stick for a long time, and now it's gone, and then it's going to be complete ice. Everything is going to be complete ice, which makes hiking 100% more crazy.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay, excellent. Thanks, guys, for shooting the shit with me. Really appreciate it. So, welcome to episode 102 of Inside the Line, the Catskill Mountains podcast. Tonight, I have Dave and Artie from the Jolly Rovers Trail Crew, who are going to talk to me about their organization, what they've done in the past. I don't know, how long you guys been together?
This is our 13th season.
Yeah, we're
13.
just finishing it.
Yeah, so 13 years of building trails, improving trails up in the Catskills and mostly down in the Hudson Valley area, and then even up in the Whites where they built a trail or two up there. They're all over the place. They've done amazing work. They have workshops, stuff like that. So we're going to hear all about that tonight. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
Yeah, can't wait to talk about it. So thank you to the monthly supporters, Darren White, Vicky Ferreira, John Kabisky, Jim C., Michael Bongner, David Mead, Matt Smith, and Denise Weiss. Thank you very much for supporting the show. Also, if you're ready to hit the trails, make sure you take the scenic route. Scenic route guidance help you with your goals, big or small, like Marcy or Slide or Low in their sewers. Check out Scenic Route Guiding and Gear Rentals on Instagram and Facebook for more information. Also, if you mention the podcast, you can get 10% off. Use the code Mountain Lion. Check out also another summit, a nonprofit program that leads outdoor adventure hikings activities for first responders for free. Activities like walking or hiking or even backpacking and paddling trips. Check out anothersummit.org for more information or details or future events. Get a hold of me if you have someone who's first responder wants to go on an adventure or stuff like that with another group or something. Just get a hold of me, get a hold of Another Summit, and we'll just talk it out. Also, is it time for some new gear hiking in the Catskills? Say no more. Camp Catskill in Tannersville has all your hiking needs. Footwear, socks, moisture wicking shirts, freeze-dried meals, Catskill merchandise, and more. They have all the essentials for your hiking needs, and they're located right in Tannersville, and they have stuff online. Check out Camp Catskill. Also, if you want free stickers, stop here. So, also, coffee. So I changed that. If you've ever heard of the organization called Buy Me a Coffee, you can buy someone a coffee. It's kind of like a donation towards something. I changed mine from coffees to hard ciders. So instead of people buying me coffees, they buy me hard ciders. So again, sorry, there's that cough. So they can buy me a hard cider instead of coffee. I didn't think I would use coffees that much at this late of night. It'd be more hard ciders or wine or just regular alcohol and stuff like that. So I'd like to thank someone, Dr. Storm, 3 days ago, donated one coffee, really appreciate it. And then also yesterday, which is really, really crazy, I had Tara Scully bought 100 hard ciders for me. So 100 hard ciders. So Tara, thank you so much for donating to the show. She said, obsessed with your project, cast, and the Catskills. Hiking these beasts have saved my life. Your program connects me to the mountains and the regions where I can't be there. And then she said something about a geographic location, but it wasn't finished. So she said, if you could hug a geographic location, if I could hug anything, my God, I don't know. North Mountain's pretty good to hug. It's pretty nice. So, and someone said, great 100th episode. I met you briefly at Camp Catskill, and they hiked Hunter via Becker Hollow that morning. I remember talking to that person about wearing spikes and stuff like that. So thank you very much for the hard ciders. Really appreciate it. So what are you guys having to drink tonight?
Tea?
That's good.
Cabernet.
Hey, Cabernet. I got me an Awestruck hard cider. What do you guess? I mean, before I just had a couple regular straight up bourbon. So blackened bourbon, Metallica bourbon. So that was nice. But good. Glad you guys are having something to drink, some warm tea. Keep warm. It's definitely getting colder. So you guys been out on any previous hikes in the past couple weeks that you want to chat about?
Go ahead, Dave.
You know what? I haven't.
Same.
Yeah. Interesting. I used to hike a lot until I joined the Jolly Rovers. We spend so much time out. This year, I just broke 300 hours, volunteer hours.
Wow.
Okay. Artie is 500 hours?
500 hours.
500 hours.
Wow.
So, yeah. So
Yeah.
we're out in the woods a lot.
But we're not hiking.
We're not hiking.
We're
And,
hiking the work sites.
Yeah, that's it. We hike out to the work site.
So I preach about volunteering. I think volunteering is very essential on the East Coast, anywhere basically is that, and 300 and 500 hours. Excuse me. I hate to say it, holy shit. That's phenomenal stuff. And once again, I'll have their link in here. So if you want to try to join the Jolly Rovers Trail Crew, I'll have their link. So thank you guys for your hard work. And once again, like you said, I haven't been out in a long time because, just got COVID and, just getting off quarantine. And then before that was the 100th episode. So I had to set up everything on Sunday in Tannersville, and hopefully I'll get out at least this weekend or sometime soon within the future. I always love winter. Winter is my favorite just because, today would have been a fantastic day to get out because it was 25 degrees with a wind chill of like 15 degrees. It's one of those days where you're just, the brisk cold air feels great. And it's sunny. It was sunny over here. At least here it was sunny. I don't know what it was like down towards you guys.
It was beautiful down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Safe.
Cold, windy. Yeah, but beautiful. Bright, sunny day.
Yeah. And then that's a thing. Cold, windy, but bright and sunny. That's a perfect winter day. So yeah, we'll get out soon. So once again, Catskill News volunteer, 3500 Club, Catskill Trail Crew, Catskill Mountain Club, the Catskills Visitor Center, Jolly Rovers Trail Crew, volunteer anywhere. Everywhere needs the help. Volunteering is great. Only take, 2-3 days out of your 365 days of your year to help out and do an amazing impact. So awesome. Also, if you need stickers, Camp Catskill. I got new stickers, by the way. So if you want me to get you new stickers, send me an email, give me your address, and I will send you new stickers if you need them. And then you can go to Camp Catskill. They have stickers down there too. So, all right. So let me get to the last bunch of sponsors, and then we'll get on with the interview. Okay. All right. So check out Outdoor Chronicles Photography. Molly from Outdoor Chronicles Photography specializes in adventure elopement and adventure couple photography in the Catskills, Adirondacks, and the White Mountains. She is also an officiant for getting married and also a licensed guide, but she is a story maker. Molly won't just give you photos, she'll give you memories that will last forever. Don't hesitate to get a hold of Molly on all platforms. Also, have you ever wanted to learn more about hiking and backpacking, or even just brush up on some of your old schools in the backcountry? Check out Trailbound Project, a hiking and backpacking school located in New Jersey. Scott and Joe from the New Jersey Search and Rescue Team have amazing backgrounds in wilderness first aid, wilderness first responder, and the Mountain Rescue Association, and they are there for you to learn old and new skills of hiking and backpacking. They teach anything from first aid to map and compass and many other skills that could help you and others while out on the trail. Check them out on their website and all social media platforms. They have a wilderness first aid certification coming up at December 5th, December 7th, and December 9th. So a Tuesday, a Thursday, and a Saturday. So check that out. Wilderness First Aid, 2-year Wilderness First Aid certification, December 5th, December 7th, and December 9th. So check them out. All right, so let's get on to the guests of the night.
Let's go.
So tonight we have David and Artie from the Jolly Rovers Trail Crew. So the Jolly Rovers Trail Crew is an organization based down in the Hudson Valley that kind of revitalizes trails and also improves trails dramatically for us hikers here in the Hudson Valley, Catskills, also the White Mountains, and many other places as well. So when I found out you guys went up to the Whites, I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. And when I also found out that you guys did workshops down in Texas,
Yep.
That was pretty amazing. So I've done my background about you guys, so I know you guys' stuff. So, and plus, I gotta admit, the logo blows any other logo I've ever seen before. Like I'm that's
Popular. Yeah, it's real popular.
it's just me. Like it's me. It's metal. Let's just say that it's metal. I'm a metalhead. So why don't you guys give backgrounds real quick? Maybe David, maybe you go first, and we'll get back onto it.
Okay. I used to be a long time hiker. My 19th birthday was on top of Springer Mountain in Georgia, the beginning of the Appalachian Trail. I lived out in the Grand Canyon for a year, working up at the restaurants on the top and hiking every side canyon I could get myself into. Moved to New Jersey years ago, was a member of the New York, New Jersey Trail Conference, and the quarterly magazine that comes out. There was a little article in there, and it said something like, "How would you like to learn how to split rock?" And I said, okay. So I went to Bear Mountain. There were no Jolly Rovers yet. This is the Bear Mountain Project. 1,000 steps got put in from the hotel, the lodge at the bottom, to the top. And it was a professional organization. Eddie Walsh
And Tahalis Trails.
Tahalis Trails, working and training volunteers. So I went out, liked what I saw, and then I got into their training. They had 4 university courses that you had to take. I took those courses and then started volunteering on Bear Mountain. And then the very next year, Artie, Bob, and Chris had decided to open up a separate volunteer crew. The Jolly Rovers were born, and I've been with them ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. Breaking one thing of just like, hey, you want to break some rock, and then it all leads to your own volunteer trail organization. That's phenomenal. So passion right there. That's passion. Artie, how about you, sir?
I grew up in Manhattan. I'm an immigrant. I grew up on a farm in Cuba. Immigrated to the United States when I was 10. I grew up in Hell's Kitchen, and at some point in my life, I became an avid hiker, backpacker, and canoeist. And I worked for the MTA and for 36 years, and then I retired. And I was thinking about, well, what am I going to do when I retired? And I had at some point developed an interest in stonework and dry stack, building stone walls. And I tried exploring that right after I retired. And I couldn't find anybody to connect with, working on stone walls. But I discovered Eddie Walsh was training volunteers how to do stonework for hiking trails on Bear Mountain. And I literally spent a year, actually not a year, probably 9 months, because I retired in February 29th of 2010, and I was working on Bear Mountain in March, end of March in 2010. And I worked with Eddie and his crew into December. And I developed a passion for stonework on hiking trails. And at that same period of time, I worked predominantly with a partner of Eddie's, who was Tom Kinlan. So I spent most of my year working with Tom alongside of him. And he was a great mentor. While working there, I met 2 other volunteers who were Bob Brunner and Chris Ingwe. Towards the end of the year, the project was winding down, and we were kind of disappointed we were not going to be able to do this kind of work anymore, and because I didn't know the possibilities of it. And Chris was much more familiar with a trail work because he had been employed by the New York, New Jersey Trail Conference, and he suggested that we start our own crew, and we did. And here we are today.
Yeah.
And you guys are the founders and co-founder? Founder and co-founder? Right?
I'm a co-founder.
Yeah.
David's a founding member.
I'm a founding member. Yes.
Wow. And this, like, what made you guys like branch off and be like, hey, was there a lack of kind of like that kind of work in the Hudson Valley Catskills area that you guys were like, we should do this?
Well, Chris, I think, had a better perspective
Right.
as to the demand for the kind of work that we were doing on Bear Mountain, because he was attached to the New York, New Jersey Trail Conference as a program manager. So he had a much better conception than Bob or myself about the demand for the work. And then we started the organization in January of 11. We started making plans and developing logistics and how we were going to be formulated and the structure of the organization. And that was 2011 was our first season.
Yeah.
And we had it was Chris, Bob, and myself, and 10 volunteers.
Wow.
And now we're at 50.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hopefully this will get the word out a little bit more and you can have, 75 or something like that. I mean, that's not the stuff you guys do is not easy stuff. It's not like you're raking some leaves off of the side of the trail.
Well, we're rather quite proud of the work that we do. And Eddie Walsh, who the Rovers would not exist without Eddie Walsh and Tahoe's Trails. Because Eddie has kind of been you familiar with Eddie Walsh?
I'm not familiar with Eddie Walsh, but I am familiar with Tahoe's Trails.
He's a professional trail builder, and he's the founder of Tahoe's Trails. And if it had not been for Eddie, the Rovers would not exist today.
Awesome.
And Eddie has always paid us a great deal of accolades. And he always says that we do very high professional standard work. And that's a real compliment coming from Eddie.
Yeah, it is.
Because of the standard of the caliber and quality of the work that he does. And now we're into our 13th season. We've gotten national recognition. We've gotten 2 National Forest Service awards for a trail we designed in Cherokee National Forest. I've gotten an award for the trainings that I do for the National Forest Service, which I've been doing like workshops for the last 10 years for the Forest Service and Wilderness Skills Institute. And I do workshops up and down the Eastern Seaboard.
Wow.
Yeah, North Carolina State Division of Parks and Recreation, New York State, and Appalachian Trail Conservancy, and a Georgia Appalachian Trail Club, with a multitude of other trail clubs.
How many workshops did you do this year? Because you did a he did
about 10, I think.
About 10.
Wow.
And
Awesome.
that's from WSI, which is a week long, right?
Yeah.
5 days
5 days
down in North Carolina.
North Carolina.
All right. I just helped him out. The last workshop that he did, I helped him out 5 days in the Bronx.
Ooh, nice. How is that? How does that work out when you got to do trail building down in the city?
I mean, it was for me. It was like going home.
Yeah, right.
I grew up in Manhattan, and I lived in Manhattan until I retired. Then I moved up to the Hudson Valley because I was spending a lot of time doing trail work up here, and it was really neat going back into the inner city and doing trail work there.
Yeah.
We worked
Imagine.
at a park with the Natural Areas Conservancy. Some New York City Department of Parks employees.
Yep.
And
Nice.
it was called Seton Falls Park.
Seton Falls. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So you guys are East Coast recognized once again. So it's just it's crazy to think that 50 group of 50 people. And let me just say this. I'm going to say this really loud into the microphone because I love it. Volunteer. That's the thing. It's just it's phenomenal to think that this is a volunteer organization.
And we're 501c3, and we have no paid staff.
None.
Every dollar that comes into the organization goes directly into what we do and to support our crew, the work that we do, and the tools that we purchase.
Wow. So a quick introduction to the Jolly Rovers Trail Crew, like what your team is and kind of like what you do around the area and besides just a workshop. So,
well, the workshops we do up and down the Eastern Seaboard. I mean, I've done workshops from Maine clear through San Antonio, Texas. David actually worked with me in San Antonio.
Yeah, I was
Texas.
in San Antonio also.
And I've worked from Maine to San Antonio, Texas, as far west as Arkansas.
Wow.
And another thing too that I think is pretty unique to us is that, number one, we don't have any paid staff, and 20% of our crew is females between the ages of 25 to 66, and that's pretty rare.
It's impressive.
Yeah, and the skill sets are pretty high.
Yeah.
Among every single crew member. So
I would say
that's
so. So basically, is it what's the majority? Is it stonework? Is the majority of the Jolly
That's
Roger
it.
yeah,
crew?
yeah,
That's
yeah. If we get a job request to do side hill,
side hailing.
crew says no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that.
No.
So basically,
No, we don't want to do timber steps.
so it's basically straight up shit that you guys do is straight up steps going up.
Steps and stone walls, cribbing,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Brunt of the work, basically.
Yeah.
Now, you talked about people volunteering. Just to let you know, to become a Jolly Rover, you've got to get trained. You
Yeah,
have to
of
go
course.
through we have 4 classes you've got to go through. And then you've got to get 80 hours your first year. All right. That's
Wow.
plus the 4 classes are part of that 80 hours. So that's basically, I think, about 40 hours of classes. But yeah, we train everybody, and everybody, the skills just get better and better. You learn what you need to learn, but it's actually in the use of it that you actually really learn how to do it.
Yeah, and I also like to think too that what brings us together initially is an interest in stonework. But the glue that binds us together is the sense of community that we've established.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of a dysfunctional family.
Yeah, kind of.
Exactly. I mean, that's the way it always feels like with volunteers. You're just like when you get a group of 10 together, everybody's got like a different role, but then you like got to spread them out over here, and everybody's talking over here, somebody's talking over there. Yeah, I totally agree with that. What factors do you guys really got to consider when you're designing a new trail or creating a new trail? Are you guys do both things in designing it and creating it, or are you guys just ones that do the brunt work?
I'll start this. So for the most part, we do not do new trails. We have done one, maybe a little bit. Okay. We're really, what we primarily do is we're coming in and we're fixing old trails that have eroded away, through erosion, through water damage, through compaction. And we come in and we fix it. Okay. Well, you know what? We have 2 that we've done recently. Like the one at Gertrude's Nose, we did last year. We have 2 projects there. We're finishing up the second one. We'll finish up in the spring. But the one we finished last year actually was a boulder field. It was a huge boulder field. That was part of the trail. And the park, they had a lot of accidents there every year. Twisted ankles, broken arms. And we snaked a staircase through it. And
Nice.
when I say snaked, I mean that. It's a serpentine staircase. And you can't, even when you're at the bottom of this huge pile of stone, you can't see the stairs because they've just blended right in. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's another concept that we like to think about. It's like we don't try to create a trail that's obtrusive on the environment. We like to fit the trail into the environment. So oftentimes, you'll go and see, what we've built, and you can't really see it until you're in it,
Right.
and it's like, oh my God, it kind of like materializes out of the landscape.
Right.
So do you guys, when you guys go up there and do this stuff, of course you got to like survey it and be like, okay, so what can we do? Does that take of course that takes a lot of planning. You guys go up there with them and basically like, okay, so the steps will go right here.
Well, we have a lot of trust. We do a lot of work with New York State Department of Parks, and we have historically done a lot of work with New York State. So we don't get a lot of oversight from them. There's a lot of trust involved in our concepts.
Mm-hmm.
So we're given a lot of freeway as to what we do and how we deal with the problem areas, given very little direction because of the faith in our ability to do the right thing. We try to align the trail in a manner that, we control any water issues, safety concerns, and we leave the environment usually better than what it was initially.
Yeah.
And we try to always think about taking people where they want to go. And if you don't, and always, of course, if you don't take people where they want to go,
They're going to go there anyway.
they're going there anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that's going to create additional problems. So that's kind of our concept. And the process of developing a trail or remediating an existing trail, which is predominantly, like David was saying, is what we do. There's a lot of time and effort involved. There's the communication between us and the partner. A few project coordinators. David is a project coordinator. I'm a project coordinator. Bob Brunner is a project coordinator. And we'll go out and we'll take elevations. And we'll talk about gateways, anchors, and where we want to take the trail. What do we got to do to remediate? Where is there are water issues? How we can alleviate, mitigate safety concerns.
Yeah.
So we take that all into consideration, and then we work developing a job log.
Mm-hmm.
And the job log will tell us, like, okay, so we have 100 feet of trail we're going to put in. What's going to happen here? Okay, so we're going to put in 5 steps from 0 feet to 10 feet. 5 steps. You're going to put 10 feet of paving, and that's the work log.
Yeah,
and it really defines how the trail is going to go. So there's a lot of work that goes into the process before you even start doing the actual physical labor.
Exactly.
What's really funny about this is the two of us, we've put a lot of work into the design, figuring everything out, laying it out. But in reality, once you hit the ground, a lot of stuff goes out the window.
Oh, of course.
Because things come up, you know, that you just weren't aware of, you know? So
yeah, you start excavating, you find stone.
Yeah. There's a bedrock layer here. Or...
So your ultimate elevations don't change.
No.
You know, but your elevations from 0 feet to 15 feet don't change.
Right.
So you have to make continuously adjustments, and we try to educate crew members that they need to be conscious of the fact that they set a step, they need to take elevations again and make sure where it is that they're going.
Wow. A lot of pre-planning and
there's a lot of planning involved.
Yeah. We have, there's certain dimensional requirements that we keep. We try to keep our rises 8 inches, no more than 10. Okay. And then the tread itself, we really want 14 to 16. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So, because when you're coming down, you know, your hiking boots are big.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Hiking boots are big. What we learned actually this, I think we learned from Bear Mountain, Eddie Walsh, base steps. So most people don't think about this, but at the bottom of every staircase we have, or where we have a landing and then a set of stairs, there's always a step buried underneath.
So instead of stepping on mineral soil, you're stepping onto a base step that's been set at grade. And the conception for doing that is, you know, you have compaction, you have displacement and erosion. And as you hike on a trail, and I'm sure that you've seen it, you see steps listing, and they're facing out and they're about to fall out. Well, we try to inhibit that from happening by putting in these base steps. Wow. And the base steps inhibit the process of compaction, displacement, and erosion. Right. Because as you come off a step, you'll compact the soils. Once you compact the soils, you end up with a dip. The dip accumulates water.
Yep.
And someone steps into that water, you displace additional soils. So then you end up, what you end up doing is you end up undermining that step.
Yeah.
And the trail is now less sustainable than it was initially.
Yeah. I'm sure when you're hiking, you've come upon steps they're kind of hanging in the air. They're all undermined.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we put these base steps in to prevent that from happening.
Wow.
And it's just basically like a doormat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. And just
it won't compact.
Right.
The planning and stuff like that, it sounds absolutely insane, but amazing at the same time, because you also got to bring into like the preservation of the natural landscapes in there as well, because you don't want to just put it going straight up the mountain. You want to make it look
No,
at
you
least
want to fit
natural.
into the environment.
Yeah.
And if you, I don't know if you've hiked any of the trails that we've put in, like Stony Kill Falls.
Yeah.
What was
Fair Mountain.
today? The summer, Stony Kill, Gertrude's Nose.
Gertrude's Nose.
Yeah,
We did Breakneck this year. We
Yeah.
did Little Stony Point down on the Hudson.
you will see that they all fit very, very smoothly into the
Yeah.
mountain.
Yeah.
You know, and that's our conception. We want to be in step with nature.
Mhm.
And we don't want to whatever we put in, we don't want it to be obtrusive. And we also think about the impact that we have. Like this year, we worked at Little Stony Point,
Mhm.
and we had to be very conscious of where we took stone from, because there was a habitat for a rare lizard there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
See?
very conscious of where we was taking stones from, that
Right.
we would not impact on the environment for the lizards. And then
Lizard.
you also have like environments that are sensitive to vegetation.
Exactly. So all this has to go into
Mhm.
Our
planning.
plan.
Yeah. And then once again, you said basically sometimes there might be a freaking speed bump in there where you hit like, oh wow, this is a place that maybe like a fox den was. So we got to think about that. Now it screws up this plan, or a whole layer of bedrock just showed up when you're excavating this. No, so now we got to do this. So the pre-planning and just everything goes into one big huge ball of, I'd say crap, but yeah.
Well, there's a lot of work that happens behind the scenes and to what we do. It's not just people coming in and putting in a bunch of steps. There's a lot of pre-planning that gets involved, and a lot of consideration into a lot of concepts.
So can you name like any other like challenges that you guys face when doing that? Like any challenges that you guys have faced, basically.
I'll give you challenges. So first off, let's talk about Gertrude's Nose again. So last year we put in, Tom got 68 steps, and the elevation was 85 feet from top to bottom. Okay. And 65 steps through that boulder field. Now, usually the biggest concern always is, where do we get the material from? We need stone. Okay. And we're not cutting up the boulder field. So we found an area about 175 feet off the bottom of the trail. Old cliffs had fallen. We could quarry there. So we established a quarry. So we go in there with our Honda generators, our impact drills, and we start cutting and carving up stone. Well, it's 175 feet off the trail. So we set up a high line. The total high line is 250 feet long. Now we'd pick up that stone at the quarry, we'd fly it out and drop it at the bottom of our project that's going up 85 feet, right? How the hell do we get the stone up to the top? It's a boulder field. And the stone we're working 450 to 650 pounds of stone. Second high line, another 250 feet from the top to the bottom. And now we pick them up at the bottom, and we have a capstan winch that is basically a 4-stroke engine with a capstan on the side of it. And we pull the stones up, and we stage them all along the way
as they're needed.
Wow. That's
So
a freaking challenge right there.
Yeah.
A lot of pre-planning. And like what he said was that we're quarrying this stone 175 feet off the trail.
Yeah.
So whatever impact that we're having on this stone and quarry area,
Right,
it's not going to be visible to the hiker.
No.
Of course.
Yeah. And then at the end of the whatever project that we're working on, we go back and we try to naturalize the area. So any obstructions or divots that we've created because we've pulled stones out of the ground, we naturalize it. We put in vegetation, we do transplants, we do screen, and it's you would never think that anyone was here.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
This like a trail, like kind of a rose.
Another interesting, and this is probably one of the biggest technical challenges. Well, now we've had a lot of big technical challenges.
Here.
Sam's Point. If you get a chance, go to Sam's Point and walk up what is now called the Lenape Steps. Have you ever been to Sam's Point?
I haven't been there yet.
Okay. So there's a carriage road that goes all the way around, boom, to the top of Sam's Point. But now at the bottom of that cliff, which is Sam's Point, where the carriage road goes by, there's a set of stairs that winds itself up through a crevice.
Chasm, yeah.
Yeah, chasm that starts out, I think it's about 17 feet wide, and then it crunches down to maybe 5 feet.
5 feet.
All right. At the bottom of you're coming in it's 45 feet above your head. You're walking up this crevice, and we put steps there.
And that was probably our most technical project we've ever done.
So
We
basically,
never
when
done a
you got
project
that,
as technically demanding as that,
When-
we
when
spent
you-
3.5 years there.
Yeah.
when you got that task, it was basically a kind of what the bleep task. Like, are you serious about this?
No,
And-
actually interesting on this one, it didn't come to us. We came to it.
Oh,
we
wow.
we were doing a job for the park in the ice caves. And we
Nice.
had heard about this old set of stairs. And we stopped and got out and we found them. There was a staircase here from 1868.
That collapsed in 1965.
Right. And we went, and the old steps were still in there. And we looked, and we said, shit, let's do this. And we talked to the park, and the park said, you can do that? Because they never thought they could do that. So we actually had to take that all the way to the state and sell it to the state, because Sam's Point is a preserve.
Yeah.
And you can't have any new trails, but we established that it actually was an original trail. So they let us restore it.
Wow. That's
And
phenomenal.
there we actually built a wood ramp out of 4x4. We called it the Rock Railroad. 40 feet long from the top down into the crevice. Then we built sleds, and we would strap stone on and belay them down our railroad into the crevice where we were working. So because how else could we get stone down there?
Wow. That I hope people took pictures during this. So you guys have a lot of pictures, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you go to our website, there too, we called it the Sky Crane. We had a 30-foot long aluminum I-beam, okay, that we backed up with. In the I-beam, we put 2x6s to strengthen it. We put it across the top of the crevice. We'd hang like 3 slings on it, and the bottom of it, we had a chain hoist, so we could. Oh, it was wild. It was such a good time.
That I can only imagine. Like I'm picturing this in my head of just like, people working on this crevice area that just keeps getting thinner and thinner and building steps up it. But I mean, that's awesome, because number one, you're improving the trail, and number two, you're improving the safety for the hikers going up there. It's the two most important things.
What's interesting here on that staircase, on all of our staircases, we always try to build like 3 or 4 steps landing, 3 or 4 steps landing, kind of like this.
Kind of break it up.
Right.
Give people a break as they're walking up. And here we couldn't do that.
There was no, it was so steep. There was no place to put a landing any place in this staircase. You remember how many steps was it?
87,
88 steps?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it took 3.5 years.
3.5 years.
Technicality of the work.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, during COVID.
Yeah, we were not allowed to, during COVID, we were not allowed to go back in till July.
Yeah. So we lost a lot of time there.
Yeah. And then at some point we were also inhibited. We couldn't have more than 12 people on the project at a time.
Yeah, that's tough.
To do that, we built the staircase, but in order to build it, we had to excavate the chasm, because the chasm had a staircase there. And the staircase was built with
like a little
mortar.
teeny. Yeah.
And some of the steps were like 14 inches high, and then your next one was 4 inches, then it was 8, then it was 12, then it was 6. It's very, very erratic. So we ended up taking all those stones out, and that was a major undertaking. We spent probably half a season just clearing out the chasm before we could actually start building.
Wow.
And,
Shows you the work and the determination that you guys need to do this stuff, because it's like you didn't give up. That's the thing. Like just thinking about this, like that's an incredible task that you need to take on, and to volunteer to do that, be like, ooh, this would be nice, is just goes beyond what I can
what's
think.
interesting is how people get invested
Yeah, they
in
do.
the caliber and the
Yeah.
quality of the work that they're doing.
Yeah.
And you say, listen, stop. He says, no, but I want to finish this. I want to finish this. And Eddie Walsh, who's a professional show builder, he says, you guys are in a unique situation. You guys don't have a problem investing 8 hours and installing a step.
Right.
He said, I don't have that luxury. I got to pay people.
So what'll happen is that everybody, typically the job is broken up into several different projects. So, and then there'll be a team established. And typically that team will be there all season working on those 7 steps and 3 landings. That's theirs. And they become very vested in making that right. And in a sense, what happens is that, we build stone stairs, but we're artists. All right. The mountain is our canvas, and the stone is the material we work in. And so many of the times, nobody leaves until they're 100% with what they've done.
Yeah.
It's going to be there forever.
Exactly. And to tell me this, to tell some person new to this that you guys did that, and to walk and say like, wow, this is an absolute masterpiece of what they did. Like I need to go back to, I haven't been to Romer Mountain in a while, but I need to go back to see what it looks like again. So now that I have this picture of you guys doing this stuff, it just makes me want to go down there. Those drives down to like Harriman and the Gunks and stuff like that, a little far for me. It's like 2.5, 3 hours, but still, like, I want to go down and I just want to explore this, just to look to see the humans did this. Like, it's just crazy to say that, but like, so with like, you're talking about being like a quarry, having a quarry, stuff like that, to do that. What kind of like technology do you guys use to create these trails? I mean, do you guys use LiDAR and stuff like that? And in terms of like different, like,
well, what's interesting about that is that we did one project at Lenape steps, and we used mechanized equipment in there. We used backhoes, skid steers, and we got a lot of flack from the crew because we were using mechanized equipment.
Nice.
And old school,
And
they want to use hammers and chisels.
yeah, and we used grinders a lot there. And
explain the grinders, like with like
Bench
a bench grinder, a hand grinder.
yeah.
Okay. Well, and I can tell you how I used it. I had the first 14 steps. Okay. And remember, there's no landings, and we're building on again, once you excavated what organic topsoil was there, it's just all shale. Mm-hmm. So you're building on top of stone. Ideally, you'd love to place steps behind each other so they lock. Okay. Each one, so they lock all the way up. Couldn't do that here. And part of the reason we couldn't do it, we didn't have enough run. Remember, we have no room for landing. So it was very, very tight. So what I ended up doing is that here would be your step here on the bottom. The step above it, I would notch. How can I do this with my hands?
You gotta kind of do it upside down.
Yeah. So I would notch the step so it would hang over. It looked like it was on top, but actually here I had cut out an inch notch all along the inside. So it would lock in like that. Okay.
Wow.
So there was a lot of, without the grinders, we would not have been able. Could we do it by hand? You could. That would have taken a long time.
And as it is, it took 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. As it is, and how much like a percentage wise, would you say like old school, old fashioned work compared to new technology? Would you use
90%.
90%, yeah.
90% old school?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And then it's fantastic to hear that people want to come back and do the old hands-on stuff instead of using new technology stuff. That's great to hear.
Interesting, because I teach a workshop, and I've been teaching it for the last 10 years in North Carolina for the National Forest Service in conjunction with the Appalachian Trail Conservancy and Southern Appalachian Wilderness Stewards. And the driver for that workshop is to train people how to work in wilderness. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Wilderness Act.
Yeah.
But the Wilderness Act, you cannot use any mechanized tools. So every year I go down in North Carolina and I teach people how to drill by hand using star drills and split stone by hand. There's no generators, no drills. Everything is done by hand. And it's all done in wilderness.
Do they know that they're getting themselves into that when you say that? Be like,
oh,
hey,
yeah, they do.
Okay. I just love to see people
driven for that.
Yeah.
I love to see people's faces.
Institute.
I love to see people's faces when they're like, oh, we're gonna do this by like a sledgehammer or something like that, and they're just like, no, we're doing this old fashioned stuff like that. Wow. Yeah,
well, if you're interested, we could send you a calendar and you could come out and spend the weekend with us.
Yeah.
I definitely got to. This is fantastic. And I know about the wilderness because they just had down in South Carolina and North Carolina, they had those fires recently.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just basically like, we got to let them go. This is, a wilderness area. We can't use machines. But they recently did like a new act or treaty or something like that basically is going to let them save the land by the acts of machines, excavators, stuff like that. So yeah, I was curious about how that goes down there. That's awesome. That and like you said, that people want to come back and do it by hand is just makes it even more special because that means you're teaching the right way to do it, and then it's the way that's making them feel like they are useful instead of machines, like the way technology is these days. Everybody,
the skills that we teach people are skills that are not readily available in the world in which we live in today.
Of course,
we're using drag lines, we're using winches, and we're using combinations and 2-to-1s, stuff like that. And that's like stuff that people don't think about. And people are swinging sledgehammers and using hammers and chisels, and that's not something that a lot of people are utilized today. And then what's interesting is that a large portion of our crew is engaged in IT work.
So they're getting away from it.
Yeah. So here it is that they a lot of them say, she says, I go to work every day and I don't create nothing at the end of the day. She says, but I come out here and I do this kind of work and it's like so tactile.
Yeah.
It's very gratifying for them.
Yeah. Amazing. And that's the way I picture it, is just, the people that volunteer, like you guys, the way you volunteer your life into doing this, and the satisfaction that you get of going down those 85 steps that you created and then looking back up and like, we freaking did this by hand. Like I say that all the time when I see those anywhere. I'm just like, people did this by hand. That's insane. So,
and I tell you, Stash, I look at the evolution of my life, and I came from facilities management. I was an assistant general manager for New York City Transit Authority, and I think about what I did for 36 years of my life as an occupation and what I'm doing today. And if you at some point would have said, listen, would you trade one for the other? I would never give up what I'm doing today. I mean, because it's so gratifying. And, and I do a lot of trainings. So I get the opportunity to engage with young people who are 25, 26, 27, 28, who are getting their hands into this area of conservation and outdoor recreation. And they're so incredibly enthusiastic about it. And it's very, very gratifying for me to be given. And I always say that I'm given the opportunity to share these skills with the young people.
Exactly. Saying that and hearing that is good, that there's people that want to do this at that age. I'm 41 years old. You always see people that don't want to do shit. And, just to hear people want to do stuff like this, hands-on brute work, lifting, like you said, 400 to 600 pound pieces of rock and chiseling away throughout their whole day. It's just absolutely phenomenal to hear.
I'll tell you something, like Stash. I did a workshop for Thatcher. I did 2 workshops last year. I did 2 workshops for Thatcher State Park this year. And I don't know if you ever heard the Indian Ladder Trail in Thatcher.
Oh yeah,
State.
Definitely. Yep.
Yeah.
Been there.
So we were putting in steps. Last year we were cutting steps to do this project on the Indian Ladder Trail. And then they got a crane. We cut these 10-foot wide steps, and they dropped them in with a crane. And the crane has a scale on it, so it knows how much each stone weighs. Mm-hmm. So they marked each stone how much it weighed. Most of the stones weighed over 2,000 pounds. And I was working with these 2 young women that between the 2 of them, they didn't weigh 200 pounds between the 2 of them. And they said, "How are we going to move these steps?" I said, "I'm going to show you." I said, "We're going to move with my hand." He said, "Are you crazy?" And then they started setting the steps, 2,000 pound stone steps by hand, these 2 young women.
Yeah.
And they were blown away. And you think about, how we as a society interact with women and our conceptions of who women are. And for me to look at these women and have them see how gratified they were when they had the capacity to move a 2,000 pound stone. It's just incredible. And it's all about techniques.
Yes, technique.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Once you learn it, you got it.
Exactly. And then you want to come back for more.
Yeah.
It's always like that.
It's addictive.
So once again, when you're designing trails and stuff, safety is a huge concern, I'm guessing. As you said, with the landings and stuff like that, how do you guys think about that when you're building the trails?
It's a high priority for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have 3 principles that are kind of our guiding light, and it's safety, morale, quality. And it goes in that order.
Nice.
Every day when we go out, at the beginning of the day, there's a safety talk. And we get up in a circle. We have a little safety card now that we pass around that people will read. And we talk about the blood dime. All right. We talk about wearing your PPE. We talk about when you're making crush, let everybody know around you, because when you're making crush, rock flies.
Yeah.
And then we talk about specific hazards of that site. And some, there can be specific hazards to that site. And then one of the things about our crew is that anybody on the crew, if you come out with us and it's your first day out, if you see something that's not safe, you call it. And we stop.
And it's not necessarily that it's not safe.
Yeah.
You don't feel safe.
You don't feel safe
with the actions being taken.
Right.
And we expect you to stop the job.
Yep.
And each individual crew member is empowered with the authority to stop a job because they feel a certain action is unsafe. And we have an incredible safety record. I mean, we've been together for 13 years.
Yeah.
And we've never had any serious injuries. Listen, we've had multiple granite kisses. We had people cut their face, cut their hands, cut their forehead. But never have we had a serious injury.
No.
And we attribute it to the position that we take and the importance of safety. We want you to come out. We want you to have a good time and be proud of the work that you left behind. But we also want you to go home safe. Yeah. You notice that we never said that productivity is a high priority for us.
Yeah.
It's not. It's your safety, your morale, and those concepts are what's really important.
Yeah. What happens, it's interesting. If everybody stays safe, morale is, if somebody gets hurt, the morale will go to shit.
Yeah.
So everybody needs to stay safe. The morale pretty much takes care of itself. Everybody has a pretty good time. And then, you know what? Quality. takes care of itself also. If people are being safe and they're having a good time, people they take pride in what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we always tell people, listen, you're going to come out here, you're going to invest 8 hours in doing a job. The last thing you want to do is come out and do a shitty job.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and the higher quality of work you leave behind, the more empowered you are to come out and continue to do that level and quality.
Correct. The higher the morale too, the better the team as well,
Absolutely.
And you want to come back, you want to do more, you want to do a better job than you did last time. So that's awesome. Awesome principles,
One of the things we've learned as an organization, in the beginning, we would take a job and it'd be a 3-day weekend. We've been there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's 3:30. We got to leave by, we're supposed to leave by 4:30, and it's not done yet. And there's all of a sudden this pressure to get it done.
Yeah.
As a crew, I don't know. I think we did that for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And then we changed.
Then we became highly aware of the level of pressure we were putting on people.
Yep.
And then we said, listen, if you're not done today and you're not happy with it, don't worry about it. We'll come back tomorrow and fix it.
Yeah. So now all the jobs that we take, we don't have a deadline.
End date.
And we don't have an end date. We may promise and say, look, we hope to have this done by June, but it may not be. Okay. Because we're not going to, we found that operating under a time pressure does not suit us at all.
These people are not getting paid. They're volunteers.
Yeah.
Not here to have a good time.
Yeah.
The last thing we want to do is put pressure on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And once you have that, pressure put on you, you almost feels like a job.
Exactly.
And then you don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I feel that. I definitely feel that. And that's a great way to look at things, basically, is just, no pressure is a little bit too much, because then you're working hard, you're doing that. And then there's goes safety, and there sometimes goes morale right there. And so you guys got your shit straight, and I love it. That sounds fantastic. Perfect.
I like to think so.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just like, damn, I wish I wasn't 3 hours away from here.
One more thing I'd just like to say. We already talked a little bit about the structure of the Jolly Rovers. We're a 501c3, and we have a board of directors, but we're a little bit different than, I guess there are other 501c3s run this way. But the crew council, we have a crew council. We're set up like a pirate ship. Okay.
Nice.
So it's the crew council through the project coordinators that determine the direction of the Jolly Rovers. They're the ones who decide on the jobs. They're the ones who decide if we need another generator. They're the ones, all of that decision-making process and all that direction of our organization is run by the crew.
It's not invested in the board.
It's not invested in the board.
Nice. Good.
The people who are doing the work control what happens on the ground.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. That's fantastic. So,
and it's a very, very democratic organization. And, everyone has a right to speak up, and their voices are always heard.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. The way it should be. Volunteer organizations. Definitely the way it should be. That's awesome. So, what has been the best project that you guys have done in the past 13 years?
That's kind of like
the
controversial.
The most technical project we've ever done was Lenape Steps.
Okay.
And then the one after that was, I would probably say, Stony Kill. Right?
Stony Kill is really very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Very
But the most technical work. And I don't say,
well,
I don't think that we can say the best.
No, but you forget the ice caves. In the ice caves, we put a staircase in the ice caves. We hung rigging in the ceiling of a cave as a high line to fly stone out, because the quarry was at the back end of a cave.
Wow.
Isn't amazing? The ice caves at the top, if you're on the top of the ice caves, it was 95 degrees in August.
Nice.
The people in the quarry in the back of the cave had jackets off, and they could see their breath.
was like 48 degrees in there.
Yeah, it's like it was amazing.
And the people working on top, they were working at 95
Oh
degree
God,
temperature.
just hard. So, but we did some amazing things there.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So it's hard
Yeah,
to
it
say
is.
like our best
Yeah.
project. I mean, I think that visually, probably the most visually appealing projects are Lenape steps.
Yep.
Lenape was physically challenging
yeah,
and it demanded a lot of time, a lot of investment in creativity. And then after that, I would say that it was Stony Kill Falls. And I don't know if you've seen Stony Kill Falls.
I haven't been there
But,
yet. Once again,
Yeah.
I'm missing out.
Yeah, but just beautiful projects.
Yeah.
Beautiful projects. But
Gertrude's Nose too. Last year,
yeah,
what we
that was
did.
a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Also, you know what? Fitzgerald Falls on the AT.
yeah,
Have you seen Fitzgerald Falls?
On the AT?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually down in. It's right on the Jersey border. It's in New York State.
No,
By
I haven't
Brews,
been there
like-
yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was it's probably not our finest work, but it was probably one of the most fun that we've had on a project.
Yeah, and it was also a kind of a turning point for us because we had to get creative there. We had our high line, our high line was set up over this steep trail, and we would fly stone down and drop them. And I think that was the first time we
Yeah.
started to do that.
It's also too where we decided that we were going to become a 501c3.
Nice.
Yeah, our first 3 years we were with the conference,
Wow.
We were attached to the New York, New Jersey Trail Conference.
right? And then we broke free. We became
That's-
pirates.
So how many, looking on your website, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, like probably like almost near 20 projects that you guys have done.
At least,
At least.
At least.
And so probably those are the bigger projects, and you probably got a lot more small projects that I've seen, like the Minnewaska, all over the place.
we
basically.
did 4 projects this year.
Wow. Awesome.
Okay, we did Breakneck, Little Stony Point. We're back at Gertrude's Nose and down at Rockefeller
Right.
State Park.
We did a historical restoration at Rockefeller
Right,
State
yeah.
Park.
Wow.
That was a small job. Actually, those 3 down there, all of them they weren't too big. 25 steps.
Yeah, what's happened since COVID is that, you know, we've prior to COVID, we were doing much larger jobs.
Mhm.
And COVID kind of like reduced the participation of the crew to about 14 to 15 crew members. So we've kind of downsized the size of the projects that we're doing.
Mhm.
And, you know, and we've been very, very successful. And I think, you know, they're very creative.
Yeah.
The projects that we've done, they're small, but we've done multiple projects during the course of the season.
Yeah, but they're volunteer based, and they're helping out the community whichever. So, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the way I see it. It's just I still, once again, like when you guys are explaining all this, I still cannot believe this is a volunteer based organization. Like some of the stuff, I'm just like, holy shit! Like,
But you know, it's Stash. What you've got to realize is that a lot of 501c3s, they have paid staff. We don't have any paid staff.
Yeah.
Every single function in this organization is all volunteer. Nothing goes towards a salary. Every penny that comes into the organization, whether it's through a project that we've done for a partner, whether it be New York State, a land trust, or a workshop that we've gotten paid for, all those funds go directly into the organization and what we do.
wow,
I mean,
unbelievable.
I mean, that's money well spent. Money well spent.
100%.
Yeah.
You guys at least buy like yourselves like a good dinner afterwards or something like that? Like Jesus.
Well, we do when we do our full crew weekend once a month. It's a Friday through Sunday. Now, usually Friday is a small turnout. Okay. And Friday will be, say, from 6 to 10 people. So the Friday crew will go out to a local restaurant for dinner. All right. And that's That's on the Jolly Rovers now. In the beginning, it wasn't, and we all paid our way. But now we've got some fun. So the Jolly Rovers pays for Friday night dinner. And then on Saturday night, we camp, and we camp Fridays and Saturday night. So we pretty much have a kitchen. We've got a grill.
Oh yeah.
All the cups and paper plates and silverware and everything. So we set up a kitchen, and typically in the past, everybody would take turns cooking. I kind of went by the wayside this year. Pretty much Linda's been doing all the cooking. Artie's Linda. Okay.
Linda's our business coordinator.
Yeah, I tell you what, without her, we would not operate.
Yeah. Tell her I said thank you very much for hooking this up, by the way.
You actually should interview her.
Will do.
So yeah, Saturday night is a big it's a crew dinner, fire, campfire. And
we've been together for 13 years.
Yeah.
So we have a large portion of our crew members are females. And a lot of the females are now married. A lot of them have children.
Yeah.
We have, so when we have a crew dinner, we have like a bunch of young little kids running around.
Nice.
From like 3 to 10 and 11 running around.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Well, good. At least you guys take care of each other. That's what it is, about friendship, about, building those bonds and building
a community.
Exactly. And that's what I say, just doing this stuff, doing the podcast has made me realize that there is such a strong community in the Catskills and the Hudson Valley. And that hopefully, doing this stuff like interviewing you guys makes you tighter with somebody else that might not know about you, or, some other person from, New York City that comes up to hike in the Catskills might hear about you and join you. So.
Yeah, and our crew is very, very diverse. I mean, and we're in a pretty unique situation just because of the demographics of where we live. I go down south, and most of the people on trail crews are my age, retirees.
Yeah.
Here we are in the Hudson Valley, and we have such a diverse demographic here. And, we're in a fortunate situation where our crew members are anywhere from 25 to 72.
Nice. Awesome.
And that's like a really unique environment to be in, So you have people like myself, who's 72, interacting with young men and women who are 25, 26, 27, 28, so there's this exchange of cultures. And it's such a high level of respect that takes place between all of us.
Yeah. Another interesting thing about our crew, we're now getting a lot of New York State employees, park employees, coming out working with us for the weekend.
Nice.
Nate from Thatcher comes down for the weekend. Nate from
Taconic region.
And then what's the guy? Phil from Thatcher comes down, and these guys come down.
These are all trails coordinators.
They're trail coordinators.
Wow.
Different regions in New York State.
But they come down to work with us because they have a great time and they learn. And we have actually Tracy, who's on our crew. She came out last year. She was a new recruit last year, and pretty quick I recognized, like, Tracy, you know what you're doing. She said, yeah. She ran the program for at Bear Mountain for Monolithic.
Yeah.
Okay. And she used to work up in Maine on a professional crew.
She worked with Jet Talbot.
Jet Talbot, right. But anyway, she was volunteering for our crew because as a crew lead, she didn't get to play with rocks anymore. And she just wanted to play with the rocks again.
Nice.
And we got the one guy, Dan, from the Adirondacks. He runs his own trail crew in the Adirondacks.
Wow.
He came down early in the spring to work with us before his season started. His season ended, and he comes back down to work with us.
Wow.
And then in addition to, we have guests like Tom Lamb.
Tom Lamb,
who runs a trail crew for Georgia Appalachian Trail Club from Georgia.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he'll come up with his son, and they'll spend a week with us. You know?
See, that's tight. That's
Well,
that's tight.
Actually, so you know the connection there. Actually, Artie, you gave a workshop to them.
Yeah.
What, 5 years ago?
Yeah, 5, 6 years ago, I taught lamb.
Yeah.
So there you
Tom
go.
had retired, and he took a workshop with me at the Wilderness Skills Institute in Biscayne National Forest.
Yeah.
He got fascinated with stonework, so he went back to Georgia ATC and he started his own trail crew, his own stone trail
Stone crew, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, see the impact that you guys have. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Amazing. So what do you guys got any like upcoming projects or innovations that you guys want to chat about real quick?
yeah. Well, we have a few things on the table right now. We're been asked to do an extension of a project for Rockefeller State Park.
Mhm.
We have a small project that we're going to do for Manitoga. You familiar with Manitoga?
No, I'm not.
Oh, you've got to check it out. It's a national historic site. We've done a lot of work for Manitoga. It's a Frank Lloyd Wright estate. No relations to
Frank.
to Frank. It's a Russell estate.
Right.
Russell Wright estate, and it's off 9D in Garrison.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful piece of property, and he built a house there. He built hiking trails, and you can actually hike to the AT from their property.
Nice.
And we're going to do a small paving project for them. We've done a lot of work in the past for them doing historical restoration, and we're going back to Gertrude's Nose, and then we going to look at a few other projects for New York State parks.
Right.
Nice.
Hudson Highlands, probably.
Yeah, they've been getting that little storm damage that they had back there. I think they would call you guys down to at least do some work that we had down
We
there.
were working on that day.
Oh, really? With the
Yeah,
freaking rain, storms came?
Little
we're
Stony Point.
right across from West Point.
Wow.
Okay. And let me tell you, remember those days this summer where it was just so hot, and it was like the weight. Our crew were out there. We're just dragging. We're all spent, you know. And then it started to rain, and it was one of those warm, beautiful summer rains, and it's like all of us start to blossom. You know, we're soaking wet, but it felt so good, and our bodies were revived. And then it kept on raining and raining and raining and raining, and we left.
Yeah. And then in your head, you're just like, this could become a problem. And then it did.
Actually, it is.
Yeah, a problem.
I usually cross over the Bear Mountain Bridge, headed back to Jersey. 9W was closed on the other side. Ended up having to make my way down to Tappan Zee Bridge to get over the Hudson. And then Mike, who lives in Brooklyn, he got home at 2:30 a.m.
Nice.
Train out of Cold Spring got shut down about 3 miles out of town because boulders had covered the railroad tracks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy times. Like
Crazy
so I was just like, wow, they'll probably call you back for that. So cool. Well, awesome. Well, once again, thanks for joining me. One last question. Always ask this. Cool way to get people to go about the area. It's called Post Hike Brews and Bites. What do you guys suggest after doing some like crazy trail work and stuff like that to go out and get something to eat around the area you're working at? What's your favorite restaurant to get a beer or something to eat?
Actually, Gertrude's
The parking lot.
Right?
Yeah, we usually have food in the parking lot.
Yeah,
we have a beer. And
we always
some
bring snacks and beverages for after.
Yeah, and
That's good.
And one thing too that we do is like any partner that we partner anyone that we partner with, we always make an agreement that they will provide us with a
campsite. Yeah,
nice.
So what we'll do is like on a Saturday night, and in Gertrude's, Minnewaska, we'll head over to Peterskill. And we'll camp out there and have a dinner.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's the brewery up there on 44 that we go to?
Rough Cut.
Rough Cut.
Rough Cut.
Yeah, Rough Cut. And you know what? If you go there, I'm going to say stick with their mushroom cheese burger. Okay, you can't go wrong with that.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent. I will tag them in that. So excellent. So Artie and David, thank you once again for joining me tonight. And I hope you had a good time. I had a great time of listening to the crazy work that you guys do, and I'm gonna definitely look into maybe like joining you sometimes, at least for a workshop.
Well,
I don't know.
You're welcome to come out and spend the
Yep.
weekend with us.
Yep.
And
Awesome.
we do this simply for the love of the work.
Exactly. Love of the work and the love of the trails. Just it's crazy. So once again, thank you to the monthly supporters and monthly sponsors. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who is listening. Thank you to the recent people who have donated to the show. Greatly appreciate it. Big thank you to Artie and David for joining me tonight, listening about the Jolly Rovers Trail Crew. I finally got a down low of who they are and what they do. And holy shit, I can only say that this is absolutely insane stuff. And you guys are a blast to interview, and your work is absolutely phenomenal. Thank you for doing what you do. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much
All
for the
right, thank
opportunity
you.
to stash. My
All
best.
right. Have a good night. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey everyone, I just want to thank you for listening to the show. If you enjoyed the show, subscribe and throw down a smooth review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any podcast platform that you use. You can also check daily updates of the podcast, hikes, hiking news, and local news on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the official website of the show. Remember this. You gotta just keep on living in the Catskills, man. Livin.
Wicked, 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 wicked.